I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I am here with two parents that have just finished sleep training with me for their 10-month-old baby boy, and they're going to share their journey. So, what was life like before you called me? What did you have to do to help your child go to sleep? What was happening in the middle of the night? How are you feeling about it all? Go back in time.
Okay. So this was our second baby. And once we had him, we said that we would definitely do things better this time and make sure that he had good sleep habits. And it started out okay when he was a newborn. He used to nap really well. I was off from work and I could nap when he napped. We took nice 4-hour naps. Everything was great. The problem started when he started becoming bigger and he was taking 2 daytime naps and a night sleep. And he wouldn't sleep through the night. We had to I had to nurse him to sleep. He would wake up, he would cry. I would have to nurse him back to sleep. And it started looking like I would have to start co-sleeping with him because there was no other way for me to keep getting up at night and bringing him to the bed. And me and my husband had said no co-sleeping this time. We want to make sure the baby sleeps well through the night. So we started wondering how to handle this. And then what really went crazy is, my husband was already working, but he was work from home, and I went back to work at the office. And this is just when I started to really be under a lot of stress because I was in a new position at my company. I didn't know a lot of the things, so I had to learn them, but I couldn't concentrate because I had no sleep. And I was just really, really exhausted every day. And I just said, I just don't think I can do this anymore.
Right. And also, Dad, wasn't there a situation where the baby boy was just pretty much only wanting mom and you were kind of cut out of the picture? So even though you were working from home and able to be more available, baby boy was kind of where's mom?
Yeah, it was difficult. You know, he's our second child. His baby boy is much more robust and active, and so it was difficult, sort of adjusting to that as well. Um, and in terms of his sleep habits, even though we tried our best, we felt like um things were slowly getting out of our control. He was
Mhm.
slipping back into some bad sleeping habits. Um, and then, every putting him down also when mom wasn't around, putting him down for his naps was both, exhausting and time consuming. Um, we had to work our way through how to do it. And then I felt and eventually got to the point where only that thing that we could do was working, and everything else just was, uh wasn't quite, you know going down well with him.
Right.
So it was, at that point we were like, well, I think we need some help here.
Exactly. So it's like the night started falling apart and then the nap started falling apart. And then each of you guys were kind of stuck in your positions of dad was doing naps and it only had to be this certain way. And then mom was the only person that he wanted at night. So then that was going on. So then all of a sudden it was kind of like, okay, wow, we can't even keep up with all the demands of this. Let alone trying to do my new professional position and have the energy and focus that I need. So what made you decide to ask for help? What was there a breaking point? Was there an incident? How did you hear about me?
Well, it was really one day we were talking to Amar's cousin who had used your services to help train their son. And they said, we really didn't think it was possible, but we gave it a try and it worked really well. And so we were super skeptical, Joanna. We were like, how can this work? I mean, this person's not even going to come to our house and see our baby. How? There's no way this can work. But they completely vouched for it, saying that yes, our son is sleeping through the night now. So we decided to just give it a try. There was nothing to lose, really. We were like, let's give it a try and see if it works.
Exactly. And by the way, like I'm never afraid of being skeptical, right? Because this is your baby. You've tried everything. This is your second child. I mean, you've already been down this road before, and yet you're thinking, I've got to reach out to this woman that's like through the screen. Like, this is so weird. How could this possibly be a thing that works? And lo and behold, what does life look like now?
Oh my gosh. So last night I went to bed at 9:30 and I woke up without any alarm clock at 6 a.m. I had slept so well that I didn't even need coffee in the morning, Joanna.
That's saying something.
It's amazing. And
She managed to get her skincare routine done as well, which
Right.
yeah,
So a little self-care for mama. She gets to have a shower. She gets to moisturize.
oh
She gets
yeah, I
a
get to
good
do
night's
all my
sleep.
self-care at night, and I can really come into work and concentrate. And we've also done some fun things. So ever since baby's been sleep trained, we went on our first date together post baby, and then we had a couple of night outs with our friends, which we could never do. And I still remember there was one night when baby was about 6 months old, and it was a good friend's birthday, and it was a late evening dinner, and all of our friends were going, and I had to say no because I knew that my baby was going to wake up at night. He was going to cry, he was going to make Amar miserable, and everybody in the house was going to wake up. And I just remember texting to my friend like, oh, there's no way I can come to dinner, like I'm really sorry. And now I can, once in a while I can step out and I don't feel like nervous about it, which is amazing.
Right. And you know what? Let's talk about that for a second, because I think that is such a big thing. Like, you're so used, especially as a nursing mom, you're so used to being on call. Like, it's just like this feeling that you can't go anywhere or do anything because, and then if you add the non-sleeping part, that if the child only sleeps if mom is available and if the nursing is available, then you're really locked in. Right. And now this whole opportunity of freedom showed up where you guys could go away together, away for a weekend, no problem. You could go out on a date night, no problem. Mom could go away on a weekend and do a girls' trip, or at least go out with her girlfriends at nighttime or nap time, no problem. So all these possibilities opened up for you simply because we were able to help your child learn their sleep skills.
I think there's significant, like, I feel like a lot more peace of mind. Like I had this habit in the early days where, the baby monitor would be on, where even if baby was asleep, all seemed well, I would just like be drawn to that monitor. I would like glance at it, I'll check, is the volume working? Is the video on? Everything is like too quiet. Like, how long can this last? And it was just that, every 10 minutes I'm just like glancing out of the corner of my eye at that baby monitor. But now, just like yesterday, baby went to sleep, and the monitor is still on, but feel like, okay, I feel confident that, hey, this kid is now going to be sleeping. If he does, you know s- you know wiggle around a little bit, he will just soothe himself back to sleep. And it's just that peace of mind takes like a weight off my shoulders.
I love
Yeah.
that, Dad.
And he actually sleeps at night now, Joanna, because before he used to say, you go to sleep and I'll stay up with the monitor.
Right. And now, and yeah, and you guys have your master bed back. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about that. You have your master bedroom back, and you have your master bed back. Right. That it's not just mom and baby, it's husband, wife, baby, happy in his crib, happy in the other room, and sleeping, essentially 12 hours a night. It's awesome. Okay. So, if you, met somebody and they were sleep deprived, and you could tell that they would be helped by getting expert support. But they were like, I'm really skeptical, or I don't believe in cry it out, or I'm afraid that my baby might think that, there's attachment theory or attachment concerns. Like there was a lot of objection. They're like, they could be helped, but they're just like, but this and this and this and this. Like, what would you want to tell them? Like, go back in time and all your reasons to be scared or skeptical, and help kind of like blow the myth out of the water.
One of the things I would tell them is, it's very hard as a mom, as a new mom, to parse out the difference between your baby just making noise and complaining versus your baby really, really being upset. And one of the things that I learned during the sleep coaching, because there were many points in time in the very early days when I told Amar, like, I think we should just give up. Baby's upset. I can't do this anymore. But that you kept reinforcing to us, like, look at him and how he's talking. He's not really like sad. He's just like frustrated that he can't sleep. And when you kind of framed it in that way, I was like, yeah, well, even when I can't sleep, I get frustrated and I toss and turn and I'm grumpy about it. Mm-hmm. And so it's just trying to understand that's one thing. And the other thing is just there's so much subtlety in the process that I had no idea about, that I actually felt that through the coaching process, I was more in tune to my baby's subtlety rather than less. So from an attachment point of view, I don't think there was a negative, because now you kind of pointed our attention to like even finer cues that babies give that we were just not aware of before.
I love that, Mom. Yes, that is what I often say, is that this is like the most loving and supportive thing you can do, because you will come to know your baby in a whole new dimension where you will be more emotionally available to them. You will be more in tune with them than you've ever been. And so you're kind of validating that experience. Mm-hmm. How about you, Dad? Do you feel that way too?
I do. I mean, there's, babies are remarkable, and sometimes, if you're tired, you're deprived, you you kind of miss out on seeing that clearly. And one of the ways I felt the whole process really helped is just that, as Sarah mentioned, we'd wake up in the morning, and these kids, you have to give so much to them, and to any parents that are thinking about it, I would say, well, this helps your baby so much, but it also helps you so much, so you have more to give to your baby. You can play with them more, spend better quality time with them, and it just it helps sort of just getting to know your kid so much better.
Yes. And I would say, Mom, kind of circling back, you were very, very tear sensitive.
Yes.
We were very tear sensitive, and we talked about it. Like, this is not something we shy away from. We have a collaboration between the three of us about how is Mom doing and how is Mom responding or reacting to any version of tears, and having Dad understand where she's coming from so that there's empathy, right? But also helping Mom guide herself through understanding her, kind of reaction. Like, can you kind of tell me how that evolution was a little bit more, about how being tear sensitive didn't stop you from the learning and the doing, because you understood more what the process was?
It was difficult because you have to like put your emotions aside, and you have very strong emotions for your baby always. So I would say that that's definitely the most difficult part of the coaching, is just trying to like observe the theory, learn it, observe the baby, and put your emotions to the side and just see if it works and try it and give it a chance. It's really the hardest part of the coaching, and it's hard for the parents. I mean, the kid, it's hard. I mean, the child has a lot of learning to do too. So
Mhm.
you have to support them, but I think the parents have a lot of learning to do as well. So
Right, right. But in the end, weren't you surprised that what you anticipated in terms of tears was actually way less and way like less stressful, less dramatic, like you were anticipating the worst,
mhm.
and in the end, all you were really doing is witnessing a learning process, and it wasn't high drama or scary or anything like that.
No, yeah. So, you had initially told us it takes about 2 weeks for the first stages. And I think the first few days, our baby was very frustrated. Then we were very nervous. But by the 5th day, he basically settled into it like much faster than even you had said he would. And after that, we kind of got a lot more confidence to continue on with the process and really continue and implement all your recommendations. So it was a lot faster than even what you had said it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. Dad, do you have anything to add on that and her experience with being nervous and afraid of tears?
Yeah, I think it's as you mentioned, you're giving us advice on how to handle our baby, but you're also giving us advice on how to handle ourselves
Mhm.
and help each other. And
Mhm.
I felt that was especially empathetic to the whole process because as you must you obviously know, um going through this process, the parents need to support each other, um and amidst all the sort of sleep problems we were having with the baby and just how tired we were and sleep deprived, it felt good to have somebody help us through that as well.
Mhm.
And so, I could be there, better support Sahar, and she could also support me when we were sort of implementing and doing all our sort of like planned and specified roles in the whole
Mhm.
process.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. Well, I am just absolutely thrilled that we went on this family sleep transformation and that within 2 weeks, you guys literally quite have a different life, and have new possibilities of what the future brings, and been able to travel with him and go on date nights and do all this new stuff that you never thought was possible. And I thank you for trusting me. Uh, and thank you for putting your skepticism on the side and going on the journey with me.
And thank you
Thank you so
too,
much,
Joanna. I
Joanna.
really appreciate everything that you've done for us. And, you have some really quality, information that you share with us. And then the way you kind of take everything step by step and not overload people with things. And really appreciate your method. It's very systematic and it's very effective.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye, you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.